How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to do the One Piece Zou questions and answers.
In case you missed it, we started doing Q&A videos after each arc where viewers can submit questions, and then we'll just take some time after each arc answering some of them. So here is the Zou Q&A.
Alexis asks, will you guys ever react to the SBS from the manga? It's a section where Oda answers fan questions and some even tie into the story. Also covers stories which also tie into the story but never got ended.
Yeah, I think we are planning to do some of them after we're caught up. We haven't read any so far, but they do sound really interesting, so I think we will spend some time going back to them later.
Yeah, after we catch up, we don't want to get spoiled.
Next question, Snafu asks, which animals do you think your partner will be if you were Zou citizens?
Zou citizens?
Bear.
Okay, I'll be bear. She'll be a bear too.
We'll
be the
family.
bear family. Maximum asks, Luffy now defeated another warlord, Doflamingo. How do you think Luffy really ranks in the world as of now? Is he one of the strongest people, just strong, or maybe overestimated, underrated? What do you think?
I do think he's strong, but I don't think he's the strongest. And we haven't really seen a lot of the stronger people. Because we just entered the new world.
Yeah.
So I think in the new world, probably not really strong. But before new world, probably strong.
Yeah.
Right? Because the new world now you're in like emperor territory. So I don't think you're really considered strong anymore.
He's probably
Probably just a shrimp in the new world.
I think would you say strong enough to maybe get recruited?
Yeah, maybe potential. There's potential.
Because he defeated Doflamingo, so maybe he's like a warlord level, power-wise.
Exactly. So like he may be strong enough to work under like Yonko or something like that. But then I wouldn't really say that the Yonko really see him as a threat like at all.
At this point.
Yeah.
Second question. You saw multiple times that the Supernova 11 from the Worst Generation, now Law allied with Luffy, Benji with Big Mom, Mad Monk witnessed Kaido drop from the sky, Kid, Apu, Hawkins, Alliance, Bonnie was shown multiple times. We even saw Drake's father's death in Rosanate's flashback. Do you think they played an important role when they were introduced in Sabali?
I think so.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I definitely think so because they keep highlighting these characters randomly, and I think that's kind of Oda's way to kind of drop hints like, hey, don't forget these guys, they're going to be important later, like they're going to matter later. I think definitely. Kind
of keep you in the loop. That's what Oda likes to do.
Yeah.
And then lastly, we already had Sanji's flashback was up. Did you expect to learn something about one of the main characters' background so late in the story?
Half, I think. I think we were kind of speculating if there was something more because there's so many characters where we just like didn't know how they got to where they were, like who their parents were and things like that. I think those weren't introduced. Specifically for Sanji and Zoro, I think we talked about it, where it was just like, we don't know how they ended up where they were, even though they had like their flashback scene. We didn't know who their parents were. And then we knew Luffy's parents was a crazy drop. So I think that's why it made us curious who are the parents of the rest of the crew members.
Like if they never revealed it, it doesn't really add to the story, but then it's missing. So at any point they could have added to the story.
And I think also because of the show we're watching, One Piece, like if it was any other show, I don't think I would question it as much or think that there's a possibility that there is a story to it. But then with One Piece, I feel like anything that's unanswered could potentially have an answer at any time, right? So it wasn't like concrete yes, but at the same time it's just like, oh, maybe there's something, but maybe not, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
The Revenant asks, what is the best anime ever and why is it One Piece? JK. What are your thoughts on the 4 red poneglyphs now that you've had time to sit with that info? It made me feel like I could see the end for the first time.
Yeah, initially when they finally showed the road poneglyph, it kind of felt like the show was like you finally could see the end, but also like the story's just starting. Because this whole time I didn't really know how to get around though. And here we are, we're given like an answer, but I don't know how we're gonna have to defeat all these emperors or something to get these gold poneglyphs.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of tells you what the goal is, but it kind of makes the goal feel even more distant, right? It's like you reached a point. It's kind of like how they were describing it in the anime. It's like you reached a point, but it feels like you're also just starting. Like there's so much more to do still. I do feel like the road poneglyph reveal made me feel personally more closer, just because with the whole story with Roger, they had to do it like twice, I think, and then here we're like already on the path. So I feel like it made me feel good about it, because it was like, oh, we're like on the right path, even though like we didn't know what we were doing.
First try.
Yeah. I think also with that reveal as well, I see a lot of struggle upcoming, because the poneglyphs are, 2 of them are owned by Yonko, and then Luffy, in order to retrieve that, he's going to have to fight them, and it's kind of like a struggle. And I guess now that we know like these emperors have them and things like that, it could also mean that other people are going after them as well. Like it's not just Luffy, right? So I don't know, I feel like the big struggle is just coming now.
Yeah, like I think maybe it sounds simpler, like we just need to get 4 of them and then we can make it our way to Rafto, but they did introduce the ink printing, so maybe instead of like stealing it, we'll just like quickly swoop in there and like steal it.
Yeah. Oh, so you're saying like, oh, maybe it doesn't have to like necessarily be a like, power struggle, just copying it, or being sneaky or something.
Like Luffy also wants to fight them, but like maybe we don't defeat them and we don't lose, but we have like someone else kind of like stealing in that way. Zai Pierre asked, non-OP related question. You guys mentioned before you are not uploading double episodes since you have day jobs. I've been thinking about that ever since I watch you guys. Now my question is, what are your day jobs? Haha. You're probably a neurosurgeon or a rocket scientist with how big brain you guys are.
No, nothing that insane. I'm a software developer
and I do renovations.
Yeah, so nothing insane like that. Just humble jobs.
Humble jobs.
Next question is from Seagrain. Which reveal surprised you the most?
Which reveal surprised me the most? Like throughout the whole story, I guess?
I guess. I don't know if they're referring to
or just Zou. Or just Zou. Maybe just Zou. Since Zou questions. Momonosuke's clan and him being the heir, being the ones who actually have ties with the Minks. That was crazy.
Yeah. I think the reveal where Raizo actually was here, you know?
Yeah.
I think that one reveal was more surprising than the road poneglyph for me personally.
Yeah. I do believe so, because we were totally like caught off guard.
Yeah. We were 100% set that Raizo was not here, basically, right? But with the road poneglyph, it's like we didn't have an opinion on that yet. It's still surprising.
It was a crazy drop.
Yeah, but we didn't have an opinion on it, right? We weren't like believing that it wasn't here or like believing that it was here, versus like with Raizo, we 100% believed that he was not here.
He was not here. Everyone was just getting slaughtered by evil Jack.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I would say that was probably the biggest drop for the Zou arc. Mugiwara J asks, what members of the worst generations are you most excited to see get fleshed out next? Kid, Benji, X Drake, Hawkins, Bonnie, etc.
Bonnie for me.
Bonnie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because she's the only girl in that group. I just want to know what that's about.
True.
And then she was like crying or something, right? About Whitebeard. So I think her reaction for that was really interesting. I kind of want to know like what's her relationship with Whitebeard and why she felt so strongly about his death. Like everybody felt some kind of way, but she was the only one that kind of showed some kind of deep emotion, like crying.
Like deeper. Like she knew the guy or something. I'm gonna have to agree with Debbie here. Just because they showed her here and there, like she got caught by Blackbeard and then Akainu was coming. Somehow she escaped. They're just flashing her here and there and then we don't really know what's happening.
Oh yeah, she keeps escaping as well, right? Yeah, that's another thing too.
Because she's using her Delphi power or something.
I think she has like the most scenes that make you question things. The other guys, they show them, but it's not really like questioning and kind of revealing information about what they're up to.
Yeah.
You know, like when they reveal Kiss, like, oh, Alliance, or they reveal Drake, it's like, oh, Alliance with Kaido. But then Bonnie's the only one that's like always with mystery.
Yeah, like what happened even?
Yeah. Code Vanny asks, who do you think gave Zanisha the order to keep walking?
Ooh, who gave the order? Someone, because they say he was committing a crime and he's being punished. So maybe someone from Wano? Could that potentially be it?
I was thinking like Kozuki clan, because the poneglyph is there, and then they have like ties with the Kozuki clan, and then when Momonosuke was on Zou, he was the one that actually gave the command. So I feel like maybe someone from his ancestry was the one that gave that order, because it's like, why did Momonosuke have the power to command, right?
That's true. That means if it's passed down, then we can say the previous 800 ago generation should be able to communicate with Zanisha.
Yeah.
And then maybe he was being punished in that way and he just continued doing this.
I think so. And they kind of were talking about how Odin had like this power, and then apparently Momonosuke had it as well. And we were kind of speculating, oh, maybe it's kind of relating to like that voice of the universe thing. Because, so it seemed like maybe it's passed down, because it's like, oh, Odin have it, and
father to son.
And then Momonosuke have it as well. We don't know why Luffy have it, like we're just gonna ignore that part. But for the Kozuki clan, it does seem like it's inherited. So
far,
I'm gonna assume that someone from Kozuki clan before.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I was gonna say D Kingdom, but Momonosuke being able to understand them.
They're from Wano.
Yeah, kind of like aims it at Wano instead. Because they were like, oh, 800 years ago, like he was alive during before the 9th century and stuff. So yeah, it does make sense for it.
And I feel like because Momonosuke gave the command, right? So it's kind of hinting now that, oh, Momonosuke can maybe have this power to control Zanisha, right? And then in that case, can they like later use Momonosuke in that way? Because we keep thinking like, oh, how is Momonosuke going to be powerful? Because he's just a kid, right? Okay, but then maybe it's not powerful in terms of physical. Maybe it's power in terms of like knowledge, because he's able to get information from Zanisha or something like that.
That could be it.
Because right now it seemed like they couldn't communicate with each other like both ways, right? Like Momonosuke's words could not go through to Zanisha except the command, right? But then maybe later, if they are able to, they can have a conversation or something like that, or information passing or something like that. Because now we're aware that Zanisha actually is conscious and has a mind. So, and they lived for a really long time, so they would have known what was going on in the world and like the blank century and
based on whoever talked to Zanisha, or maybe what Zanisha witnessed in the sea. Demi asked, we see first 1 billion bounty, and he was one of the right-hand mans of Kaido. What do you think about Yonko bounties? Can you make a guess?
Well, it has to be higher than the subordinates, right? But I just can't even imagine what it could be. Like, 1 billion already sounded absolutely insane. Like, 1 billion sounded like the Yonko bounty, you know? Before the Jack reveal. But
does that mean
it would have to be like
in the tens or hundreds?
In the tens? I was thinking,
would it be scaled like that? If like Jack is 1 billion, then would Kaido be like 100 billion? Like, could it even be like something that high?
I feel like it can. Because if you think about it, the Yonko has to have multiple subordinates that have that kind of high bounty. Like, for example, Jack is just one of them for Kaido, right? So then, if we think about it, like, relative, let's say, to Straw Hats, if Luffy was the Yonko and Sanji just has 1 billion bounty, the rest of the crew would also be in, like, sort of that range. So I feel like it would make sense. And then with Yonko, you have so many numbers as well, right? So I was saying the 100 billion. It's actually kind of makes sense to me, right? And because you're such a high threat to the government that now your one subordinate in your crew is 1 billion, so you have to be like way more, not tens, like hundreds.
Should be. Maybe, yeah,
Right?
maybe in the hundreds.
100 billion, I think so.
Yeah. It's just crazy how the world government or the Navy has that kind of money to fork out. You bring Jack in, you're like, here's 1 billion, like, that's
No, for
insane.
real though. Actually, yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know how they would afford that actually.
Like if you're still a pirate hunter, you know, they kind of like stop showing that there's like pirate hunters after the Grand Line. But like, if you're a pirate hunter in the New World, you want Jack, you know, like, get
That's
that
true.
1 billion.
That's true.
Don't have to work again.
That's true. But then it,
If
yeah,
you could be that.
that's true. Because it makes sense for me with the number, it'd be in the 100 billions, but then at the same time, the government's the one creating the wanted poster, so it's like, would they be able to afford that
Yeah.
kind of bounty?
Like, I don't know if that's a thing.
But at the same time, isn't it just like some absurd number because it's like no one's gonna be able to do it? Like, who's
Yeah.
gonna bring down a Yonghua and bring it to the government?
Mhm.
Ozen says, this one's for you, Jackie boy, but feel
Jackie
free
boy.
to answer as well, Debbie. On a
Mhm.
scale from 1 to 10, how hot was Zonami?
Solnami? Solnami was fire. That's what it
Fire.
was.
Yeah,
That
that
dress-
dress,
that
dude.
dress was crazy.
Yeah, dude.
Like-
Wanda knew what she was doing.
Yeah, that was insane. Like, they gave that to Nami instead, you know? Alright, Rampage Monkey 50s asks, now that they are looking for Marco, do you think he or even the rest of the Whitebeard crew will join the Straw Hat Grand Fleet?
Oh! Oh my god!
Would
What?
Would he do that? Maybe.
I think they would because he's Ace's brother. So then they have to, like, Ace is gone now, so then it's kind of like they felt like it was their responsibility to kind of take care of Luffy, right? And then on top of that, Luffy's gonna go fight Kaido,
Yeah.
so they're not gonna want Luffy to get killed. They're gonna go help back him up.
Actually,
It
yeah,
makes
now,
sense.
with that question, yeah, I would say so. Marco would probably alliance with them.
I think so.
Just because maybe, like, also, like, eventually Luffy's gonna have to clash with Blackbeard. And that would be, like, his time to kind of get revenge. Because he wasn't able, they weren't able to beat Blackbeard.
yeah.
Because he took over all their territory.
Yeah.
so they lost.
Yeah.
So this would be, like, a perfect time
Yeah.
if they find Marco, right?
I think so, and the
Yeah.
goals would also align
Align,
as
right?
well too. Oh, that makes
That would be
sense.
pretty
Yeah,
hype
that
actually
makes
talk about it,
sense.
yeah.
2 a.m. is JDanime hour for me right after work, so you guys are the savior of my day.
2 a.m.
As I said before, come Zou arc, the lore drops will be crazy. Now to my question, what is your theory on how the Jack was able to go back to Zou even though it has no magnetic field and log poses can catch on?
That's a very good question. Honestly, I don't know how he's
actually
doing
didn't
it.
question it that much actually.
Could it be a Vivi card? He has it from someone, but they usually give it to people, so I don't know how he would have got a hold of that. Or like some kind of link or something, right?
How did they get it the first time?
They make
though?
it. I don't know how they make it. They never show him.
No, that would make sense with the Vive card for the second time when he showed up. But how did they even get there on the first time?
That's true.
Because
Like they found them.
yeah, because Law was only able to get there because he had Beppo. Beppo's from there.
But I was thinking like, how he got the information. Was it Doflamingo? Could Doflamingo could have informed Kaido and them?
I don't think so. Why would Kaido have no? Oh, that's true.
Didn't wasn't there a plan or something where like did Law like yell to Nami or something like go ahead or something?
Oh,
Go
yeah.
to Zou or something? I don't know if he was there, if he listened, or if anyone else heard that he was going to Zou. But another question would be like, how the heck did he find Zou?
No,
another thing,
yeah, I
right?
think that's the thing. How he got there, not where he got the information. Because I think he knew to go to Zou.
Yeah.
He just didn't know. I think it's your question is just how he got there. My theory maybe is that there's a mink or something in
On
his
the crew?
Could that be? But then why would a mink
Sell
betray
out, right?
all their other
That's
minks, right? Yeah, I don't think so. Like
I mean,
you can
even
see.
Pek Holmes, kind of still
Yeah.
aligns with his people, even though he was on Big Mom's.
No, yeah, exactly.
Right.
Because I think Peckhams kind of showed that they are loyal.
Yeah, they should
Yeah.
be loyal. Yeah.
Like especially like with that whole scene with Rizal and everything.
Yeah.
It just like when Nami
That was
says,
crazy.
yeah.
That loyalty, that was insane.
Could they all be like that though? Could there just be like one bad apple, like one mink?
Maybe can we say like it's like humans, there's good guys and bad guys. Could there be a bad mink? Is that possible?
abandoned. That's what I'm thinking, maybe.
But I'd be surprised they didn't talk about it then. They're going to reveal the left-hand man of Kaido is going to be a Link.
That's true.
I don't know how you actually...
The Doflamingo theory also makes sense too, though. Maybe he has some way to get to Zou.
But the thing with that, my problem with that is that I just realized is that he told the Straw Hats to go there, you know? And Jack was specifically looking for Raizo, which kind of... That means Doflamingo knew Raizo was there or something? Like, how the heck did...
No!
Yeah?
Wait, no. That may make sense.
It still makes sense?
That would still make sense because Doflamingo was going after Momo's crew. It wasn't just the Straw Hats.
Oh, okay.
He was also going
true.
after Momo's crew.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, I think...
They were looking for them.
I think it's fair.
It's just like...
Actually, no. Hold up. Isn't Raizo... Isn't Wano right now, like, allied with Kaido? So why can't someone from Wano, who's close to, you know, the Kozuki clan, know that there's Zou, and just be like, yeah, Raizo's probably there. The clan is associated with.
So you're saying
Zou.
someone from Kozuki clan? It has to be someone from Kozuki clan then, because the other clans wouldn't know about
Would they not
Zou.
know?
No, because Zou is only alliance with Kozuki clan specifically, not with whole Wano.
I'm expecting Wano to have ninjas or something. Like, could they have gotten that information like off someone? They could have like caught one of the Kozuki clan's people and like tortured them or something. I don't know. Is that possible?
Something like that.
Because it's like info. How do you get that? As Kaido is like kind of took over Wano, right?
That makes sense. I think that would make more sense because then I could see a human betraying more than a mink.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't think that a mink is loyal?
That's true.
Maybe?
No, actually, that would make sense, right? Because then it's only Kin and them from the Kozuki clan that escape, right? But then there's could be other members still of the Kozuki clan within Wano. Yeah. And then if Kaido got a hold of them and was torturing them for information, maybe they gave in. Another question, is there an awakened version of the Cry Cry No Mi model? Okay. I love you both. Okay, that was not a question, but...
Alright. Phantom Alex asks 3 questions. First one is, what are your favorite laughs in the show? Personally, my favorite laugh are Shuroro from Caesar, Fosh 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 from Dr. Hogback, and Gurara from Whitebeard. What would you say? I like Saul's laugh at Darcy. That's pretty funny. Not really funny, but it's kind of like catchy.
I don't think I have a ranking for them. I think all of them are funny.
They're all pretty, they're all funny.
Because it's just like they're also out of pocket and...
Sometimes a laugh matches the character. Next question. What do you think is the worst elephant fruit so far? Personally, the jacket fruit is probably the most weird one. Spandam's elephant. The sword that can turn into an elephant, or the elephant can turn into a sword or something, that's a pretty bad elephant fruit, I would say.
Yeah, probably the jacket one. Because it's like you need 2 people. It doesn't make any sense.
That's true.
You can't even use the power by yourself. You have to have another person.
Or Alabasta, I forgot who, Mr. something. It was the guy with the cannon. It was like a dog cannon or something. That was another devil fruit.
Oh yeah.
Right? It ate the devil fruit somehow.
Dog fruit or something.
Yeah, it was able to transform. That was really weird too.
Yeah, that was the ones that are inanimate objects, I think.
Those are
something weird.
Those are bad. If you guys are in the One Piece verse, what 3 crew member would you pick to set sail? Why? It can be anyone in the show.
3 members?
3 members.
Sanji for his cooking.
Okay.
Nami for navigation, and she's like fun, so like shopping and and stealing berries.
All right.
Okay, I'm just saying, if I was going and setting sail, I'm not trying to be Pirate King, okay? I'm just having a good time.
True.
So,
because just say set sail, you know.
Yeah. And then... Fuck, that's hard. We're just 3. I'm really trying...
3. It's a 4. You're included in one of them, so it's like...
Should I think of someone that's not a strat?
But I think you're being real here. Like, I would have chose Nami, navigation. Probably Chopper, just doctor.
Yeah.
Sanji for cooking. Like,
Yeah, I was
the
just-
most necessities that you would need to
I
survive.
was just gonna say Chopper.
Right?
I'm like, I need to live.
You need to live, right? If you get sick, you're screwed. So
Yeah.
yeah, but
I
I don't
think
know.
those three make the most sense. If we're thinking like we're just humble pirates, not
Yeah.
pirates. Like I'm just going on adventure. I'm
On
no
adventure.
lad. I'm no
Yeah,
lad.
no
I'm
lad, just
going
go on
on
adventure.
an adventure. Yeah.
Would you want Buggy ever?
Why would I want Buggy?
Just for the fun.
Why would I want Buggy out of all things?
That'd be a fun. You know, I think having Buggy on your crew would be pretty fun.
No, it would not.
But he might backstab you, so I don't know about that.
Yeah, no, it would not be fun to have Buggy.
All right.
Next question is by Zanargan FFX. Before I start, I want to say that Jackie has to cosplay as Senior Pink one day because he's truly hard-boiled.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Maybe I will.
About episode 7074, the main question I have is why was Zanisha sentenced to walk for eternity because of a crime it committed? What did Zanisha do? And why did it allow Momo to give it orders? Okay, well, we already answered the second
Okay.
one.
The crime it did. Do we want to say it was like a baby, small, or do we want to say it was always big?
That's so sad
Yeah,
to
it's just-
imagine it was a baby and then it
Like-
just lived its whole life doing that.
Yeah, it was a baby. It committed a crime when it was a baby, and then it was just like sent off into the ocean. To just what is his goal? Just to like as a punishment? But was there a goal? Is there an end point? Or is it just the rest of his life? What do you actually like if you think about it?
The way Zanisha talked about it didn't really seem like there's a goal.
It was
They
just
would
a
just-
punishment.
Yeah, I just said like all I can do is walk. But they never really made it seem like there was a goal.
Okay, let's make
to
it
walk to.
let's make it more sad by saying it did a crime, and then the person was like, you're done paying for the crime after I give you the next order, but then they like died. So then it just kept wandering
No!
for the rest of the time. I actually don't know what kind of crime it could have done, but
It's just an elephant,
Yeah,
right? Like I
yeah.
don't know either.
Like,
Unless it has some kind of significant role.
would they connect Zunisha with like the Noah ship and stuff, or like some other like stuff in the past, or maybe like the Sea Kings or something? I don't know.
I
if
think
they're
it would
buddies or
make
something.
sense because it's that old. It's
Yeah.
as old as all those
It's very
stories.
old. It's kind of like how they connect Roger being connected with all these people. What if Zunisha had friends like the Sea Kings or
So what's the crime you think they committed? You're just dodging around the
I'm trying
question.
I'm trying to make a backstory for it. It sold top secret information because it was with the Kozuki clan to the demise of the DaiKingdom. Could that be it? That's something really severe. I don't know if that like it caused like it was something so big that it was punished for the rest of his life. I don't know.
That would make sense, no?
What if it was just a friendly Zunisha, like a friendly elephant, and some evil world government guy was just like, "Hey, how's it going?" and got info on the DaiKingdom or something like that.
I feel like it could be relating to DaiKingdom because the whole thing about the poneglyphs being tied with Kozuki, and then they're the ones that made the poneglyphs, and poneglyphs is the story that the DaiKingdom is spreading.
Yeah,
So it's like
it would have to
could be
connect
tied to that.
to the main story.
Yeah, but then that means you would have to assume that Zanisha was not a baby before, right?
I
Because it
believe
had the
so.
power to do something like that.
That means another thing is that means someone else was able to communicate with Zunisha, which is also another thing. They
Like
did it.
someone from the Kozuki clan, no?
Yeah, but I was saying like Zunisha like kind of told something that led to the demise of the DaiKingdom, which wouldn't work because no one else would be able to communicate. Like sell information.
Someone from Kozuki clan.
Kozuki clan?
Yeah. Because isn't that the whole thing that we're speculating about Momonosuke is that eventually he might be able to like communicate fully with Zanisha?
Mm-hmm.
Or enough to like relay information to each other, right?
Yeah.
So then in that case, maybe his power on Momonosuke is just not at that level yet, but that is what you should be able to do. I don't know. Lovable Panda 609 asks, who do you think is Luffy's greatest enemy, Blackbeard or Akainu?
Blackbeard? I'm gonna say Blackbeard just because he's like the opposite of Luffy. Like, I kind of did commit a crime and kill his brother, but Blackbeard seemed like he's like the rival, like the polar opposite of him. Dude, same goal, dreams, but they're completely different people.
Yeah, I definitely think it's Blackbeard just because there's like a rivalry going on. With Akayo, he just kind of seems like a bump we have to get over.
Yeah.
Right? Not really like the end enemy or anything like that. It seems more like it's Blackbeard because Blackbeard is also trying to achieve One Piece and everything like that. So it seems more like, oh, it's going to be a struggle that we have to fight against this other guy that's like very similar to us but different at the same time kind of thing.
I would appreciate if they give us a backstory of like Kid Blackbeard or Akainu.
No thanks.
You know, make us feel bad.
No thanks.
You know, kind of what they did with Doki.
No thanks.
Cindy asks, thank you for giving us viewers a chance to ask you guys questions. Luffy is one of the only characters as well as others to have no internal monologues. His thoughts shown through his actions, he thinks out loud and is done intentionally by Oda. He said it forces watchers and readers to examine characters' facial expression more often, which is why Oda exaggerates them. Does this give a more grounded feeling to the series, or would you rather know what the characters are thinking?
I think with Luffy, I don't think he has inner monologue.
Yeah.
Because he's like seems like the type that just expresses whatever he's thinking.
But if he did, right?
What?
Would it change anything? Would not.
But I feel like it wouldn't change anything. Like, I don't even know. I can't even imagine what his inner thoughts would be.
Like, we see him wanting meat. He's like, oh, Miku, right? But he says Miku too. But it's like, okay, what's his internal monologue? Meat as well. Like, essentially what he's saying is what he's feeling, no?
That's what I mean, because I don't feel like it will add anything.
For him.
For Luffy, yeah. Not inner monologue.
Yeah. Very expressive though. You should be able to like figure out what he's thinking. And I think like so many episodes in, I think we kind of know how Luffy is like.
Yeah.
Right? We're kind of used to how he's.
I would like to think so.
Yeah.
I think because of the way Oda has done it, where we don't really get to know Luffy inner monologue, it kind of feels more like he's a friend. Because you don't get to know your friend's inner monologue all the time, right? It feels more like,
that's a very wholesome.
Like we know each other.
Yeah.
I know him because he always expressing himself. Maybe he have inner monologue, maybe he doesn't. But then I only get to know what he's expressing outwards, right? And then that's kind of like how you would feel with friends. Because like I feel like with other shows I watch, I don't really feel like that familiar vibe with the characters, right? Because then you get the inner monologue, so it's like feels like I am a part of them. You know what I mean? Rather than them being a separate entity from me, and I'm kind of like their buddy. So for other shows, you always get to see what the main character is thinking and feeling, and then relate to that. So then, in that sense, it feels like you're one because you're part of their inner monologue, which is like something that you shouldn't even really have access to. But then with Luffy, you don't have access to that, so it feels more like, well, I'm getting to know him.
More real.
Yeah, like it's kind of like a relationship where I'm getting to know him or something like that.
Is that the secret? That sounds pretty good. Like
I don't know.
Maybe
that's
it's so
just how
that
I feel about it.
we see Luffy as a friend. Yeah, that's a pretty wholesome answer. I never even like thought of it like that, but yeah that could be it.
Johnny asks, now that we are directly going into Emperor's territory, do you think Luffy is currently strong enough to face Old Whitebeard at Marineford? Because that's at the very least he has to be to hold his own against a threat now that he is fighting emperors potentially.
So the question is he as strong as Whitebeard right now?
Yeah, Old Whitebeard.
That's a hard question. I don't know. Gear 4 against Whitebeard?
Old Whitebeard.
Old Whitebeard's pretty strong. He's pretty tanky, but
he was more slow though.
He was very slow.
But that's because he was older.
But he still had his Elfro power, so I'm gonna say Luffy wasn't as strong as Old Whitebeard. I feel like Old Whitebeard didn't really like use all his power. Did you say that?
But he died, so he should have used all his powers. That was everything.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say Luffy isn't stronger than Whitebeard. Because then if Luffy's stronger than Whitebeard, then technically Luffy should be an emperor by now, but just because Whitebeard did it when he was younger, he still maintained his spot. Even though he was old, you know.
True. Yeah, I want to say no as well. It just feels weird saying yes because he also did struggle with Dofi.
Yeah.
And then Dofi is a subordinate of Kaido, and Kaido is a Yonko, and Whitebeard was also a Yonko.
Exactly.
So I feel like I want to rank Whitebeard higher than Dofi. So in that sense, I want to say that Luffy was not able to fight Whitebeard. Just based on that, but
yeah,
I don't know. Power scaling is
kind of
weird and always debatable.
Okay, Midnight Sun asks, what are your thoughts on the Straw Hats splitting up for a second time post-time skip? What do you think are the pros and cons to this, to their long-term development as characters? Because we have Zoro splitting up now, we have Sanji splitting up.
I don't really think I have any opinion on that because I feel like with every island they've gone to, they always split up like that. It's just that it happens to be within the same island, right?
Like a multi-arc.
Yeah, but then in this case, I guess because they're splitting to different islands, it feels more like they're separated, but in reality, I feel like it's not that much different from everything else. And then in this case, there is no set timeline, right? So I don't feel like it's going to be as long as the 2 years, right?
Like development-wise, probably is not going to change much. Maybe they'll have to like struggle more just because they don't have their friends with them. But I feel like they should be prepared at this point. It kind of reminds me of like Water 7. Everyone just split it up. No one was together. And at the end, we all like came back together.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Okay, this user asks dogs or cats?
I would say Nekomamushi.
Yeah, Nekomamushi. We are definitely cat people, but we also like dogs. But we've only ever had, we together have only ever had cats as pets.
Yes.
But you had a dog before.
Yeah, they're a lot of work.
Yeah, so I think just for our lifestyle, cats fit better. Because we're not as active, we like staying home watching anime and singing Nekomamushi.
Yes. Bianca asks, with the reveal of the rope polygriffs, it seems like the end of the journey is within sight. What islands do you want to visit before the end? Which mystery within the overarching plot are you most excited to have answered? Any theories regarding? So first we'll do islands. Any islands you want to visit?
I think just Alba.
Alba, yeah. I think that's been something since
the beginning.
The foreground line,
Yeah, so that's one. Then Wano. I want to go to Wano.
Yeah.
Right?
Alba, Wano. Wherever Shank is. I don't know where Shank's
Yeah, Shank's Island.
Shank's Island? Like, what the heck is that?
Turf.
Yeah, Shank's Turf. That's gonna be like Dragon's Island, but it's gone.
It got destroyed.
It's already over.
Yeah.
Are there any plot points where you're kind of excited?
Are we talking long term or short term?
Just like the overarching. Like the whole plot.
Oh, everything? I think the new Admiral. I'm still looking forward to meeting them.
That's true.
And then also, I guess, with Kaido reveal and how he wants to die and everything. I don't know. I think I just want to know more about that guy and why he wants to die, or like what kind of fights he has gotten into. How did he get that scar on him?
Yeah, true.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Maybe more about the worst generation. Maybe more about them. Or what happens to Goofy? I feel like he's pretty significant at this point. I don't know. Maybe I just really like him.
You don't want to like him? I
kind of want to see, like, he seems like he always has like plan B or something. So maybe something with him, bringing him back. Or Crocodile. I would love to see Crocodile coming back.
Oh yeah, Crocodile's secret.
Oh yeah, his
I want to know that
That's
too.
True. Was he a woman before?
And then got changed or something? True. I want to know that
was
too.
like, don't make me tell. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe just One Piece in the war and like connecting everything, or the last weapon. I think the last weapon was Uranus, like the last ancient weapon. Maybe the reveal of that, or the national treasure of Murray Joy. Like some big things.
The next question is by Alpondo Kun. At what point in the series did you guys personally start to see the general scale of the world building being done?
I'm gonna say after the Grand Line. Because I think before the Grand Line is kind of setting up the story, but then when we got into the Grand Line, I didn't really expect us to go in that quickly. I thought we were gonna still like struggle to get to the Grand Line, and then when we got into the Grand Line, it was just like the whole story was just bigger and bigger, and then we went to like the new world. There's just always something more.
I'm gonna have to look back and see, like try to remember because it's been a while.
Yeah, that's how I remembered it. It was like, we're in the Grand Line, we did it, okay, where's the One Piece? And then it's just like, the story was just so progressive, you know? Like, there's so much happening. And they kept introducing new islands, new devil fruit, the plot was developing. What was Skypiea for you? We went to an island in the sky.
No, I think with Skypiea, it was like realizing that there was more, but I didn't think I realized how grand
the world
the world
and
was.
The plot and everything.
Yeah, maybe actually during Marineford.
The war?
I think during the war, because they bring characters back. I guess in Pell Down / Marineford. Because at that point, they were bringing back all these different characters. So I felt like, oh, it really surprised me. For example, even just the Canada guy, Mr. 2 or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
They brought him back, and I didn't really think that those are the kind of characters that would ever see again.
Yeah.
So I think in that sense, it made me realize that it's like, oh, it's not just about the Straw Hats, the main characters. Like, all these other characters that we've had encounters are very real. Like, it makes them feel like real people. Because it's not just like a bump that the main characters have to go through and then continue their story. It's like they still have their own things that they're doing as a Straw Hat is going through their adventure. So it's like everybody has their own adventure, but we're only fixated on the Straw Hats. We only get the Straw Hats perspective, right? But I think that's the part where it's like a wake-up call. Because prior to that, it's like you're always thinking, oh, these characters not relevant, whatever it is, right? Like, even when we got to Dressrosa, you know, like when they started introducing people in the Colosseum, you know, I'm still like having that mindset where like, oh, these characters are not going to be relevant. But it's like time and time, One Piece keep proving me wrong that it's not like that. That's not how I should be viewing the story, and that each of the characters introduced actually have their own plot and own adventures. It's just that they're not revealing it to us. I think in that way, it made the world feel like so much bigger.
That's true too.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
And how all these characters actually start connecting within the plot itself as well. Right? Like, they show someone doing something random and you think it's not relevant, and then all of a sudden later it's revealed that it is relevant to what's going on.
That's true.
Or something that's happening, right? So I think in that sense, it keeps you on their toes, like, oh, what are they up to? What is this person up to? Because prior to this, it's like, when a character, after you encounter the character, I'm just like, okay, bye. Like, you never see them again, you don't really care or think about them. But then in One Piece, it's like, you're constantly thinking about all the other characters and like what they're doing.
I think that's the thing, like, knowing that they tend to do that, it's like we kind of keep an eye when they do show us something that's kind of random, and we're like, they're definitely going to bring this back later on.
Next question is from Blaze Bolt Sniper. Any theories or expectations for Odin? His son, Momonosuke, stopped a long-running struggle just by mentioning his name.
I feel like Odin has to be a very important character just because he's like, we have to open Wano. But then he's dead, so I don't know how that works. I think he's just going to be a really likable character for me, just because of, you know, that little short clip where he was talking. He seemed like the kind of characters in One Piece where we will feel very attached once we get to know him. I think goofy. Like, Odin has to be boiled or something.
Yeah, so I think once we get to this backstory or whatever it is, because he's dead, we're not actually going to get to meet him. I think it's going to be kind of a similar situation to like to Rosinante or something like that, right? Where it's like a character we really love, but then they're dead, and then that will also kind of spark more rage in us towards Kaido or something like that.
That could be it.
Right now it's like, no harsh feelings towards Kaido. It's just like, we just gotta come do this thing. Like, we need the One Piece, right? Yeah. But if there's like a reason why we should hate him now, then it's like there's more feeling towards like that fight of like trying to take Kaido down or whatever it is.
He hasn't hurt us directly yet.
Yeah, kind of like with Dofi, right? It's like, with Dofi, it didn't really feel like a villain yet until we know Rosinante, right? So
then we're like, oh my god, he's evil.
Yeah, so Rosinante was the fire for us towards like actually wanting to defeat Dofi, and then I think that would be the same with Odin for Kaido.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taco-rific asks, what are some characters you could get Luffy to remember using a simple object like pineapple? Is there any characters that you think that you could describe with like a fruit or something?
Clown.
Okay, Buggy, Buggy would be clown.
Candle.
Okay, that's true, Candle. Actually, a lot of the characters do just resemble something.
Resemble something, right?
When you say Swan, then it's like Wanchai.
Yeah. True.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, if we say Zoro, are you gonna say Mosshead?
Yeah.
Well, Sanji then, Twirly Brow?
Yeah, curly brows. Curly brows.
Akainu, what are you gonna say? How are you
Killer.
Killer? Sure, maybe. Or like Blackbeard?
Pie guy.
Pie guy. That's true. He was known as the Pie guy. I think Luffy would know actually.
I don't know. Like like lava man or something.
Lava. Yeah. Just you can describe them by
they just describe them through their fruit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too.
Maybe it's harder when they don't have a fruit because then you have to rely on their outer appearance.
Yeah.
But then even then, it's like all the characters in One Piece are so distinct.
I guess for Marco, they could have said Phoenix, but he didn't remember that, so he had to be like pineapple because he did look like a pineapple.
Oh, like just the outer exterior look.
If he just like remember them by the looks.
That's true. Who is your favorite character in this arc except any of the Straw Hat members and why?
Except?
Yeah. Nekomamushi.
Nekomamushi, that's a good one.
So.
Yeah, Nekomamushi.
Nekomamushi is my favorite.
Who would be your second favorite?
There's no second, just Nekomamushi.
I think he stood out in the whole arc.
Yeah, he was the best character for me, and he even got a song.
He did get a song. Brooke did real good. That thing still stuck in my head. Yeah. Max Mojo asks, your guys' reaction to Chopper's crush was so funny, but did Chopper really find the one during this arc? Is she the one for him? What do you guys think? What do you think? Is that wife material, the wife for Chopper?
I don't really feel like they're gonna touch romance, to be honest.
For Chopper?
One Piece. Just like in One Piece
in
general. It doesn't really seem like
it's not the goal.
It's a thing
like
that they really do. Yeah, like there are times where you kind of question, oh, is this gonna be a thing? But then I definitely feel like it's done more as like a gag than anything serious. You know, like even for example, Hancock and Luffy, right? It seems like she's really in love with Luffy or anything like that, but at the end of the day, I don't really feel like it's going to be something that's highlighted that much. It feels more like it's supposed to be a gag because her character is supposed to hate men, but she's so head over heels for Luffy.
But do you think that could happen potentially?
Like
plot-wise?
I feel like I don't really see it happening, to be honest. Like I don't think they're going to couple people up at the end of One Piece. I think.
Do we want to see their future? Let's say at the end of, do we want to do like a time skip? They become parents or something. They end up finding someone. Do we want to do that kind of thing?
I think personally, for me, the One Piece story is so good already without romance that I don't even think about it. Like I don't even think about, oh, who's Luffy gonna end up with? Who's Sanji gonna end up with? Like sometimes I'm like, oh, this would be cute, but I don't really care for it. Like it's not even really something that comes to my head really.
Yeah.
Like with Hancock, I think it's funny. I think it's like hilarious that she's like so in love with Luffy and everything like that. But at the same time, it's not like I really particularly care if they end up together or not. At the end of the day, I only really care about the One Piece. Like I don't really care about the romance stuff.
True.
So for me, I think I don't really care if they match people up or not. I think personally, actually, I would prefer they don't. Just leave it up to the viewers to see who they like.
So
together.
make it kind of not official.
Yeah, I think if it's unofficial, it's a bit. I would prefer that just because it's not even something that's
a part of the plot.
It's not something that's really highlighted in the show at all. So I feel like if they do start coupling people up later, it feels so like forced. Like
I feel like they would have to be done the journey because the goal is to achieve their dreams, right? So for them to actually settle down at that point, it would be technically the end of One Piece.
Yeah, and then by then it would feel more like a plus than the main One Piece plot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It would feel like a special show episode where it's like, oh, where they are at, who they're
like
married.
closure, like some kind of closure or something.
Yeah, but it wouldn't feel like it's part of the main story, like the One Piece story. So if they just end without them coupling people, I think I'm okay with that.
True, yeah. It just stood out at that time because Chopper never really shown kind of crushy, blushy, towards any other person.
Yeah.
Except the woman reindeer.
Yeah, I guess it's his first time seeing a reindeer that can talk and everything like that too. Yeah.
So technically, when he was a kid, the other reindeers that were just animal reindeers, kind of whatever, but now it's a mink reindeer.
Yeah.
So it's the same as him.
Yeah, that wouldn't cut it a regular reindeer.
Right? Yeah.
Next question is by Mysterio. This doesn't get talked often in the community discussions. And what do you think is this voice of all things? How do you think it will come into play as we go along the journey?
Good question. Luffy first showed this during Fishman Island when he heard the Sea King's talk. And did they say that they realized that Luffy could talk to him or no? No.
Yeah, no, they did.
They heard.
They realized that
Luffy
could hear them. Yeah.
And then they mentioned he kind of reminds them of Roger.
Roger, because he was the only other one that could do that as
But there was no explanation after that. And then fast forward to Zunisha. Now he's able to hear Zunisha again, but not able to communicate.
And then, do we want to say is Momonosuke's also the same thing or not?
Yeah, do we want to say it's the same thing?
It's a bit weird because with Momonosuke, it seems like it's an ability passed down from their clan. But with Luffy and Roger, they have no ties whatsoever. And it's not like Garp or Dragon has been shown to have that. So I'm just going to assume it's only Luffy at this point.
Okay.
So it seems like really random.
It does. I don't can Luffy can't talk to them at this point, right? The Sea Kings could.
No.
He didn't talk to them, but he could hear them.
No.
And Zunisha couldn't talk to them, but could hear them. So I don't know how Luffy's power would come into play if he can't really command them. He would understand their feelings, but he wouldn't be able to reciprocate, kind of show them that he understands.
Is it a matter of him not knowing that he has this kind of power though? Because Roger was aware.
Oh, Roger's aware.
Right?
That's true. He did. And
he was able to read the poneglyphs or whatever using this power, but for some reason,
did they confirm that was Odin or no?
Well, they say initially he was using that power, and then Odin joined after. True. So it will only make sense that he was reading it before using that power, prior to Odin joining their crew.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's kind of like a hockey variant or something like that.
Oh, like a hockey variant of observation.
Of Conqueror's kind of.
Oh, Conqueror's?
Like Conqueror's level of observation or something like that.
I guess we could say, I don't think we saw Roger use Conqueror's.
Yeah.
He should have it.
Yeah. Because I feel like it's a bit random, but then kind of also with Conqueror's hockey is also random. Because you're born with it. You're chosen to have it, right? And then you this ability, this power, and only at some random time, whatever, then maybe you can use it. So first of all, you have to be born with it, and then later you have to be able to learn how to use
You
it.
gotta develop it.
Yeah,
So-
develop it to the point where you can utilize it.
Mhm.
But in this case, it seemed like maybe Luffy was born with it, but it's not at the point where he can utilize it yet.
Mhm.
So I think my best guess would be something relating to that, where it's like an ability that you're just born with, similar to like Conqueror's Haki.
Mhm. Like he kind of unlocked it at a certain point.
Yeah.
I was gonna maybe that was the case, or he's just a special D character. Because Gold D Roger, Luffy D
Yeah.
Monkey. I don't know if that comes into play.
Yeah.
That's like I'm sure the only connection I can think.
Mhm.
You know, they're kind of saying Luffy is like Roger, but other than that,
Mhm.
they're both have the D in them.
Mhm.
But I don't know how that will come into play later. Like, what's the benefit of
Mm.
him hearing? Okay, you can hear the voices of the universe. Like, what can he do with it?
Oh, what if it's like similar to the Momonosuke case, right? You know how we're saying, oh, within his Kozuki clan,
Mhm.
Odin had this power, and then
Yeah.
now Momonosuke had this power. But then maybe because Luffy was a D character, like you say, someone from that D kingdom,
Mhm.
some kind of at his ancestry or something.
Did have that.
Did have that one point, and then maybe that's why Gold D Roger and Luffy have resemblance and everything like that as well. Because if you go back in time,
okay.
back enough, maybe
Back
they're
enough.
related in that
True.
sense,
That could
right?
be it. Yeah,
because
back enough.
it's so long ago, right? And then D Kingdom, we don't know what happened to those people, but then eventually everyone split up. But then
Mhm.
if we think bloodline wise,
Yeah.
they could potentially have same bloodline if you
That's-
trace it
that's
back
true.
enough. Like Goldie Roger, because we were joking about this before. It's like, oh, Goldie Roger's his dad, right? But it's
Yeah.
like, oh, maybe it's not
Yeah.
his dad, but maybe they're from the same ancestry because they're proven both have D.
Mhm.
They're both from D Kingdom, and then there's apparently a lot of resemblance in terms of like what they've done and everything like that. So
Sure.
I don't know if that could be
That
the case
that
too.
could work too. Like if we do like say they're technically ancestry wise, they should
Mhm.
all come from the same place.
Mhm.
Then maybe that could work. But now I'm kind of thinking about Blackbeard. Would Blackbeard have the voice of the universe? Or he's just not that guy because he's a D character too.
But then, no, I think Blackbeard may not necessarily have it just because he's from D Kingdom, because within the D Kingdom, imagine it like Wano. So like
oh, like clans or
Kozuki,
something.
yeah, like there's clans. So then, for example, maybe Roger and Luffy, they are from the Kozuki clan equivalent in D Kingdom,
Like,
where
okay.
they're all in this one clan, and then Blackbeard would have been from this other clan that's
Sure,
within D
Sure,
Kingdom.
it's just the kingdom.
It's just the
Okay.
kingdom
Mhm.
itself. So they're all from that kingdom, but then maybe there's clans within the
That could
kingdom,
work,
kind
yeah.
of similar to Wano.
Yeah, that could work.
And then that power is only inherited
It's kinda like a family line
within,
kind of.
yeah, like a family, like a
Mhm.
specific clan. Like
yeah,
maybe the clans have different powers, and then that's that power that this clan has.
was known for. Or something.
Yeah. And then that's kind of what makes sense why it's just randomly popping up within people. Like, for example, Dragon and Garp don't have it, but then Luffy have it. Because if you trace back in time, it's like,
Mhm.
if it goes far back enough, then it's like, it could pop up
It
more
could pop up
randomly.
randomly.
Because
It-
it's still part of the genes, right?
Yeah,
But then,
it's just when will it kind of activate?
mm,
So it's kind of similar to Shirahoshi's thing, where she was just born
Yeah.
to be the one to have the
Yeah.
voice.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
It's pretty.
I
I
think
think
so.
it would work. Yeah.
Because also, I think it makes sense too, because you think like with people, sometimes they don't take the exact trace from their parents. They
Mhm.
take trace from like grandparents or something like that,
yeah.
or great grandparents, wherever
Mhm.
it is, right? So then, or like they look more like they're the uncle than the dad or something like that, right?
Mhm.
So then I think it kind of makes sense in
It
that
can
sense, because
happen,
like
yeah.
the genes are not always necessarily directly derived from the parents.
Yeah, it could be beyond that.
Yeah, it could be something from before.
That could be a
something
good
like
theory
that.
towards it.
Okay, that was a long one. Okay, anything else?
Alright, that's it for the question and answers for Zoe. Thank you guys for submitting questions, and sorry we weren't able to answer yours, but we appreciate every single one of you. Look out for the next question and answers for the next arc. Thank you guys for watching.
Bye!
Peace.